So with no Walking Dead comics coming out for an entire year, I think Negan is the best person possibly to explain how I felt with no Walking Dead comics.
I missed you.
So when issue 193 came out last year, I was just heartbroken. I heard in advance that this was the last issue like a day before everyone else. I kind of didn't really believe it, but I also kind of said, okay, that kind of makes sense, especially with 192 is the ending with Rick. I kind of went, yeah, it kind of makes sense that this is the final issue for Rick, but I really did not want to believe it because I did not want to walk in at the end. I was like reading the comic for about 5-6 years at that stage, and I only started collecting the single issues about a year or two prior. Before that, I was doing every 6 months. I was picking up the trade, and I loved it. And I hear the idea that my favorite comic book, and it still is my favorite comic book. I've tried to do new comics throughout this year, but nothing has really stick. So when they announced that Negan Lives was coming out, I didn't believe them at first, but I always thought they would do something eventually. But I just thought, okay, a year after doesn't seem that true. But then I've seen where it came from comicbooks.com, Skybound, all of them were reporting on it, and I got ridiculously excited then. And I was afraid because they come out Wednesday. I wasn't able to make my way into town on Wednesday, so I was terrified I might not be able to get this, because when the final issue came out last year, I went to 6 or 7 comic book stores before one actually had an issue, and the one I got was the last one, and that was the last comic book store in Dublin. So I had got the final issue in the entirety of Dublin. So I was shocked to see that I actually got the final issue. So I was terrified I wouldn't actually get an issue. So thank you to my girlfriend who actually went in and picked this issue up for me, because she knew I wouldn't be able to. So thank you, because I would not have been able to read this, and I would have been very upset. And I really hope we do get continuing issues on. Especially Kirkman said in the letter hack section at the end of this, he goes, I don't know if we'll see more. I think he's just kind of covering his ass. We will see more. I will be shocked, especially with how well this one did. I'd be shocked if they did not continue the story, because the way the story goes, it kind of lets you believe like there will be more. Because of course we know what happens to Negan, but I want to see what happens. I want to see how it plays out, and I assume everyone wants to see how this plays out, because it's fucking Negan. Who doesn't love Negan? Negan is by far my favorite. Yeah, he's definitely my favorite comic book villain of all time, and I'd say he probably is one of my favorite villains. Like, he's definitely up there with some of the big bads, just like Darth Vader. He is up there, and I would even contend that he could be my favorite villain, because even in the comic book series, even in the show, he's just hilarious. When he first got introduced in the show and everyone hated him, I was like, no, just give him time, you're going to love him, because I loved him from the comic book series. And just Jeffrey Dean Morgan's performance as Negan has just made me love and appreciate the character so much more. And then when Here's Negan comes out, which I'm praying we get a movie adaptation of this comic book, because this is just ripe for a movie, and it will be fantastic to see a movie. Imagine seeing that on the big screen. That would be incredible. So hopefully the Rick Grimes movies do really well, so we'll get a Here's Negan comic, or Here's Negan movie. But anyways, let's actually talk about this issue, which I'm very mixed on. But anyways, the actual start of it I actually loved. It was, of course, it's Robert Kirkman kind of talking to the audience through Negan, and I thought it was just hilarious. As I was reading, I'm like, yeah, he's fucking back. Negan's fucking back. I'll read it now. He goes, did you fucks think I wouldn't come back? I hate to ruin my plans ahead of time. I prefer to keep people guessing, but you should know I'll probably keep coming back until every last one of you sorry fucks is gone. I don't exactly expect you to take that as good news, but it is what it is. That is 100% Kirkman talking to the audience. There's no way. It says it's Negan, of course, but you just know that is Kirkman talking. I love how he does that. There's loads of stuff throughout this issue that kind of feels like it's just Kirkman talking directly to the audience, especially the last scene, which I'm gonna say here again. He says, don't you want to see what happens next? Which, of course, it's Negan saying it, but he's looking like, look at that. That is definitely Negan talking to the audience, and I think everyone wants to see what happens next. He said he doesn't know, but I wouldn't care if they did an issue every year or so, every 6 months. They don't have to do a week or monthly like they did with the actual Walking Dead issue. Do this every year, every July. Drop us a new chapter, and I won't mind. Of course, it would be kind of hard to go wait a year to see what happens next, but so long as we're actually still getting Walking Dead issues, I really, really won't mind. But anyways, the story throughout this is, we see Negan out by himself. He's kind of going to that daily life we actually got to see in issue 174 when Maggie came on. He's just going collecting flowers, dropping them to Lucille's grave, just back and forth every day, and he's kind of getting sad. He wants to die, but he says he doesn't have the strength to kill himself, so which kind of makes sense. We got to see that in episode 5 of season 9 with Negan with the big beard. Maggie was going to kill him because he was praying and begging her to kill him because he didn't have the strength to do so. We kind of just got that a little bit more in here. And he's going around his house and he comes across someone called Lucy, which, okay, I was like, okay, obviously Lucille, that's definitely a bit of a tie-in together. And then she's in there looking for food, and I didn't trust her straight away. I'm like, okay, that's a bit odd that she just walked into the house, and it makes sense. And he kind of calls her out on it, because like after 2 hours, she's trying to get sex out of him, and then he's like, okay, this makes no sense. I'm 2 times your age. There's no way you go for me. And it goes on, and of course there is 2 guys coming out of the corner, and as soon as they came out of the corner, I was thinking, well, for starters, no way 3 random people are gonna come across Negan and kill him. And also I was thinking, why are 3 random people thinking they can kill Negan? He's a big motherfucker. Like, look at the size of the guy. You can see here when the guy does attack him. Where is it? The guy attacks him there, and Negan is like twice his height. There's no way they're gonna be able to kill him. So he's starting to choke him, and Negan like throws him over his shoulder. As he's being choked, Negan has the strength to throw him over his shoulder, and it's pretty good. I love Negan. Seeing him fight in this comic was really good, and as him actually kill the guy, and the guy, they were making him dig Negan's own grave, because they were going to hang out there for a couple of days. They didn't want to hang out there and smell the crap that comes out of Negan's dead body, so they make him dig his own grave. Of course, walkers come up and they all get bitten, except for Lucy. But then Negan actually says, okay, these guys are bitten, but they're not dead. So what Negan decides to do is get the shovel and ram it right in one of their chests, and it was brutal. Of course, it's Negan, so he's a brutal guy, but that's how that plays out. Negan's going to kill the guy, and then it does reveal at the end that Negan is actually going to go back to wherever he came from, which I can't remember exactly. Go back and get his wife Lucille's remains, and then go back and bury her properly, because he doesn't like the idea that her body is just sitting on a hospital floor somewhere. Even though he doesn't have the strength to go back to do it, he does want to go back, and then Lucy is going with him to help him in this quest to actually go back and save her body, which I am intrigued to see what happens. Like that's what I was saying, I am really intrigued to see what happens next with the Negan character. But the honest truth is, the reason I was disappointed by this is the fact that I was kind of hoping it'd be a bit more. I kind of finished it in like 10 minutes, and that's just my expectations being a little bit too high after a year. But I just kind of thought, after a year, we get like literally 10 minutes of reading, and a lot of it is just Negan's hanging out with this girl, he kills her, and then he starts a big quest. Wouldn't it be good if we actually got something like the Here's Negan, like the size wise, or even like the final trade paperback, which was about that big? Wouldn't it be cool if we got something like that, telling the actual quest of what happened with Negan, where he went and all that? I would have really enjoyed that. Of course, we will see that eventually. He says we probably won't, but I guarantee we will see that. But I just really was expecting to see something a bit more interesting than Negan just killing a bunch of people, which I really enjoyed. I loved actually reading some new material from Negan again. But I was just a little bit underwhelmed. That's just my own problem, though. That's me putting my expectations a bit way too high for this. And of course, I really shouldn't have had them as high for something that they only started doing, I think, back in April. They started writing this again, so I shouldn't really expect it as much as I was expecting. But then probably the most interesting part of this for me was actually the letter hack section at the end, where it's revealed that Negan was actually meant to die in issue 174 by Maggie, and he had the whole thing written. He sent it off to Charlie Adler to write, and then Charlie Adler kind of gave him a big speech about how he thought Negan should have lived, and he liked the idea of even in this world someone is able to do what they did and then be redeemed, and he just thought it was great. And then Kirkman said, okay, I'm going to change it and keep Negan alive, which I think works so much better, because I think he said I had to rewrite the last 5-6 pages, which I think, okay, that makes sense. That's where Maggie came in. But I think if Maggie just burst in, killed Negan, that would have been a bit anticlimactic. And the fact that she just came in and shooted him, I thought that would have been a pretty boring and kind of a I wouldn't have liked that ending. For Negan, I don't think that's a good ending for him. I think the ending of him going around just suffering in the world by himself now was a much better ending for the character, rather than Maggie just bursting in and shooting him in the head. Even though it would have been great for the character of Maggie to get revenge for the death of her husband Glenn, I just would have found that to be really, really anticlimactic, and I really wouldn't enjoy that ending. I would have been kind of annoyed with The Walking Dead if that's how they decided to kill Negan. Same way I was disappointed with how they decided to kill Rick. If that's how Negan died, I would have been really, really disappointed. So I'm really glad Charlie Adler did kind of step up, spoke up, and decide that we actually need to keep Negan alive. Because now we're getting actual spin-offs with him. We're getting Negan lives, and we are guaranteed. I'll be actually shocked if we did not get anything ever again, because we will get a Negan lives part 2 or whatever they're going to call it. But I'm really excited to see what they do next, because there's no way we're never going to see anything else. But if you picked up Negan Lives, let me know your thoughts on Negan Lives in the comment section down below. If you were happy with it, if you were disappointed by it, or you just straight up didn't like it, let me know in the comments down below. Click that subscribe button as well, If you want to see more Walking Dead content from me in the future, I'll be reviewing episode 16 of The Walking Dead season 10 whenever it does come out, as well as the entirety of season 6, I think it is, of Fear the Walking Dead, and then World Beyond, whenever that actually does come out. I'll be talking about every single episode week by week. So if you want to see more Walking Dead content from me in the future, click that subscribe button. But as always, thanks for watching.